Hi, Katie here at our Oregon nursery, and I'm talking about heat lovers today. Don't mind the coat. It may be a little cold right now, but it's going to get warm pretty soon. And when I think about hot summer temps, I think about some of the plants in front of me as a surefire way to make sure your garden continues to thrive and look beautiful, even when temperatures soar. So I want to talk to you about my favorites. The first is Walker's Low Catmint. This is a fantastic pollinator plant. It has this wonderful silvery green foliage that helps reflect the light a little bit, which makes this plant very resilient in the heat. It gets about 2 feet tall, 3 feet wide in the landscape. This would be perfect in the middle of a border. You could plant just 3 of these and create a stunning border that would really thrive all summer long in incredibly hot temperatures. It's really a plant and forget about it kind of plant, which I love. Rosemary is another classic choice for the heat. This is a Mediterranean garden staple. This is ARP rosemary. Again, it's zone 6 through 10, and rosemary can get 6 feet tall, incredibly. I don't have it that tall in my garden. You can also train it into a topiary. It can be a great hedge. It gets beautiful flowers in spring and summer that bees just love. And you can see that it shows off a little silvery underside in the foliage, reflecting the light. This cascades beautifully over walls. You can have it in pots. And again, just really, it's suited to the Mediterranean climate. It can take the heat. And finally, a little more color, Rose Marvel Salvia. Salvias are wonderful heat lovers. Rose Marvel is one of our most vigorous bloomers. It also reblooms even without pruning back, but you can prune it back. And some people talk about how the next bloom on salvias after pruning, the stems aren't as strong. That is not the case with Rose Marvel Salvia. I just love the color. It's really, really stunning. All of these choices would be perfect for a garden in California, a garden in Texas, but also in colder climate gardens where heat is an issue. Colorado, parts of the Midwest, we're having to think more and more about heat when it comes to choosing our plants, because we know that temperatures continue to climb in summer in places where they didn't before. So along those lines, if you're thinking about how do I take care of my garden in high temps, in this extreme of summer, so a few tips, no matter what you have planted. Remember to water first thing in the morning. Really give your plants a good drink first thing before the sun comes out and heats things up too much. Don't water midday. The water just kind of can evaporate quickly. Don't water so much at night too. If you do that, you invite pests, diseases. So water first thing in the morning. That's my first tip. The second is remember to mulch. You want at least 2 inches of mulch, around the plant, covering any of your bare soil. It is amazing how much that can cool the ground, keep your roots nice and happy, and also really help retain moisture. That's essential. You'll be watering a lot less if you mulch. If you do have a tender plant that you're trying to baby a little bit, or maybe you're experiencing a very unusual heat wave or sudden, you're suddenly experiencing full sun on a very tender plant, don't be shy about moving a patio umbrella over to kind of protect the plant. I do that in my garden. That's a surefire way to make sure that in those tough moments where you've got an extreme condition, that your plant's going to be okay. You can also purchase shade cloth, again, for those extreme situations. It's not going to make your garden look good when you have the shade cloth over it, but it's temporary. And your plants will, thrive after you take off the shade cloth. So those are just a few tips that I use in my garden when the temperatures are soaring. But the other, big takeaway, I think, is look for heat-loving plants beyond succulents. There's so many choices out there from Mediterranean climates, other parts of the world that thrive, are perfectly climate appropriate, not invasive to your garden wherever you are in the country. And if you want to see our whole list of heat lovers, check out Monrovia.com, put in your zip code, and you can filter plants by their full sun and heat tolerance conditions. Some attributes of heat-loving plants are lighter, feathery foliage, that sort of reflects the light, thicker stems. The rosemary has both of these qualities actually, so really thick stem and then light foliage, that makes it a surefire heat-tolerant plant. Choosing heat-loving plants for your garden actually means a lot less work because when you choose a plant that can tolerate heat, they're going to need less water. They're going to be more resistant to pests and diseases because they'll thrive. They won't suffer so much during the heat, which invites pests and disease in. So they're going to be more resilient. Heat tolerance is not just for warm zone plants. You can find a lot of cold hardy options like Abelia, Agastache, Rudbeckia, Echinacea. There are so many options. Do you have other heat-loving plants that you grow in your garden successfully? Tell us in the comments below. And thanks for watching. Let us know what other videos you'd like us to share. And check out Monrovia.com to see other plants that will thrive in your garden.